The world is going barefoot and more people are realizing how important their footwear is, especially when it comes to fitness. And in the world of weightlifting and staying healthy and being active, having a really cool barefoot shoe that functions really well but also looks cool enough to wear out on the town is super important. And I think I've found a new one that you're really gonna like. Hi, my name's Caden. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a barefoot enthusiast. If you want to watch more videos surrounding this topic, just go ahead and click on this playlist up here, dive right in and see what I've had to say about a lot of other cool brands. In this video, we're going to specifically be talking about the new Move sports shoe from Feelgrounds. Now, Feelgrounds has been one of my favorites over the last couple of years from a barefoot perspective, simply for their ability to take classic styles and adapt them to the barefoot style. So for me, I've got a pair of boots and a couple pair of high top sneakers that I love wearing when I'm out on the town. They look really clean, they're really comfortable. They hit all of the marks that I always talk about from a barefoot shoe perspective. They're thin, they're flat, they're flexible, and they're wide. And they've always been a cool brand from sort of a casual styling perspective, but didn't quite have a lot to do with sport and fitness, thus the introduction of the Move shoe. Now, one of the things I love the most about Feelgrounds is how close they actually get to the ground. So in the high tops that I have, there's no insole that comes with those, and so they are as close to ground feel as you can get. Since I've purchased those, they've actually updated the outsole for most of their shoes, and that's actually included in these pair. So it's a lot more durable, even though you still get that close to the ground feel. What makes the Move really cool is that it is a sport shoe, so it's functional for sport, but it also has a really sleek design that looks really good when you're just going to work, or you might be going out on a date, you're hanging out with friends. You really can use them in both aspects of your life, however you want to. I've personally been wearing my pair every day for the last 4 or 5 days, and all different scenarios. I wear them when I work out, I've worn them to business meetings, I've worn them to work. There's a lot of different ways that I can use these, and they look really good and they feel really good no matter what situation I'm in. So just like every other pair of Feelgrounds that I have, the Move shoes are zero drop. So from the heel to the front, there's no drop, there's no heel lift. It's gonna give you that maximum natural feel from a heel drop perspective. From a stack height and an insole perspective, you have a natural stack height of the shoe of about 4 millimeters. Super, super thin, really close to the ground. One of the things that they did in this shoe specifically, though, is they added a removable insole. Now, the removable insole itself is also 4 millimeters, and what I found through trying them on initially is that little extra volume from the cushion of the insole actually did change the way that the shoe feels. I don't have a high volume foot by any means, but if somebody did have a high volume foot, I would probably recommend that you take the insole out because they will start to feel a little bit snug. For me personally, I don't do a lot of high impact activity in these specifically, so I've removed the insole so I can get a little bit more room inside the shoe and also get that ultimate feel ground feel. So I'm super close to the ground and I have that interaction with the earth. Something you could always do, though, is if you plan on doing some high impact activity like running, jumping, box jumps, lateral movements, and you wanted to add the insole back in for cushion, perfectly fine to do so. The way that the shoe is laced up, you can even add a little bit of extra security around the ankle and it will function just fine. A couple of key things I love about the construction of the shoe starts with the upper material that they used. It's a super stretchy, super breathable fabric, probably more so than a lot of the other sports shoes that I've worn. That can be a positive and a negative depending on how you like to use your shoes. If you're primarily doing weightlifting, squats, Bulgarian split squats, deadlifts, leg press, things like that, that's a perfect setup. If you're a little more tough on your shoes and you're doing a lot of outdoor activities, you're doing rope climbs, you're doing things that can kind of bang up your shoes, that material might not hold up in the long run. So I would just kind of gauge based on your needs how that's going to fit for you. But from a breathability perspective and a comfort perspective, the upper is really nice. They've sort of reinforced sort of the lateral edges. And so it really does hug the midfoot while also leaving plenty of room through the foot-shaped toe box to let your toes spread and splay and do all the things that you want them to do. The heel cup portion of the shoe has been reinforced with some thick padding, so I think that was mainly just to add some extra comfort so that the thinner materials of the shoe overall don't cut into the back of your heel. I've not noticed any discomfort whatsoever through the backside of the shoe, and I think it's a really good design. The tongue on the shoe maintains its position relatively well. I personally don't like to tie my shoes super tight, so there are probably ways I could do that so that the tongue doesn't slide around, but I do notice that, as I wear the shoes, the tongue does tend to want to slide down to the side. So if that's something that bothers you, maybe tighten your shoes a little bit more, or you can probably even lace through the loop that's on the top of the tongue to sort of hold it in place when you tie your shoes together. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the sole is new and improved. They've added a little bit of extra durability to it compared to some of their previous shoes, but still maintains that zero drop and flat, flexible ground feel. So the shoe itself can mold and twist with your foot, and you definitely have some protection, but it's a lot more durable than it used to be. Tread-wise, I wouldn't say the tread underneath the shoe is necessarily all that sticky compared to a shoe like the Lono Flow, which I've done a video on here recently, and you can watch that up in the corner here if you want to check that out. That shoe specifically has a little bit more of a rugged sole that I think could handle like turf and outdoor activities a lot better. The Move has a little bit more of a smooth sole, so it has more of like a court shoe sort of feel to it, which is great for stability movements like squats and deadlifts, probably less usable for lateral movements and speed work. The Move comes in 4 different colors. You've got your standard all black. There is a green sort of heather looking color. There's an all white color, which is the pair that I chose. And then there's also a sort of a white and gum that has a mixture of some orange on the backside and some purple/lavender coloring on top. So whatever your style, whatever you feel like fits you the best, you can choose that and go your own way there. For me, I'm a sucker for white shoes, and going the all white option was a really good pick for me. On the sizing front, I would say these are true to size. So if you are used to a different barefoot shoe brand that has tended to be sort of true to size as well, I would say comparison-wise, you're probably locked in pretty well. I tend to go the European sizing route if at all possible. For me, it just standardizes a lot better. US men's can be, a 9.5 can feel like a 10.5 in a different shoe. It's not as standardized. So when given the European sizing in all instances, I find that to be a little bit more specific. So for me, the size that I picked fits perfectly with some of the other shoes that I have of that exact same sizing. And I would say true to size all the way through. Pricing on the Move is relatively standard, so about $130 overall for you to pick these up. I would say compared to some other barefoot shoe options, probably more mid to moderately high pricing. The Lono Flows, the Zero Prios, definitely in the lower, more budget category. But for something that has a lot of versatility from a styling perspective and from a function perspective, you're kind of right in that sweet spot. And so if you're willing to spend the money, I would go for it because I think these are a really awesome pair of shoes to add to your collection. The Move definitely has its pros and cons. I would say on the positive end of things, they're super sleek, very stylish, and they mark all of those barefoot shoe categories that I love to pay attention to. They're wide in the toe box, they are flat, they're flexible, they're zero drop. Toe box, kind of hitting on that point, I wouldn't say it's the widest, but I wouldn't say it's the narrowest either. There definitely are some shoes that have a way wider toe box and add a lot more room. I find these to be kind of right on the edge. If you have a little bit more of a straight foot, these will feel perfectly fine. If you're someone with a really wide fan-shaped foot, this may feel a little snug on you, so keep that in mind. On the con side of things, really it just comes down to durability, depending on what type of activities you want to be purchasing these for, and maybe even traction as well. I wouldn't say that these are best for field sports or outside activities. These are probably better suited for in your commercial gym, doing stationary work, and then kind of as a transition shoe into just casual wear if you want to walk around with your friends, you want to go to dinner date, something like that. So it kind of fits into that zone a little bit more than the rugged category, but truthfully, depending on what you would want them for, just kind of keep that in mind. If you liked this video and you thought this was at all helpful to you, just do me a favor and click the thumbs up button. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you want to get more videos like this on your feed. Learn a little bit more about what's out there from a barefoot shoe perspective. If you want to pick up a pair of the Move, I'm just going to leave a link down in the description where you can click to head on over to their website and pick yourself up a pair. I think these are a really cool addition to their lineup. Definitely some things that they probably could work on in the future to make this a little bit more specific to sport, but I think in that sweet middle ground zone that they're really reaching for, this checks all of the boxes. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I didn't cover that you want answers to, just drop that down in the comments below. I'm sure I probably missed something. But if I can answer that for you later on in the comments, I'll happily do so. But until next time, check out some of our other playlists, some of the other shoes that I've recommended in the past, see what fits you best. I'm here to just give you as much information as possible so you can make the best decision for yourself and get out into the barefoot shoe space. Start giving your feet the treatment they deserve. Get out of the conventional environment of footwear that's killing our feet, and hopefully prevent yourself from having some bunions in the future. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later.